Okay, let's just jump right in. We're going to try and demystify nutrition by, well, taking a look under the hood. We're going to forget all the fads, all the crazy headlines, and go straight to the user's manual for your own body so you can understand exactly how it processes the food you eat. And let's start with this wonderfully direct quote. It's a bit blunt, yeah, but it really sets the stage perfectly. It's a reminder that at our core, we're biological machines. And to figure out what to put in, you first have to understand what's actually going on inside. So I want you to think of your digestive system as this incredibly efficient factory. Food comes in as the raw material, and then it goes through this really sophisticated assembly line to get turned into fuel and building blocks for your body. So let's take a quick tour of the machinery, shall we? So it all starts in the grinder. That's your mouth, chopping everything up into a paste. From there, it drops down into the acid tank, your stomach, for some serious demolition. Next up is the sorting center, your small intestine, where these little biochemical scissors snip everything into tiny, usable parts. And then finally, everything reports to the command center, the liver, which is the master boss that decides what to burn for energy, what to store, or what to ship out to the rest of the body. Now, here's what's really fascinating, how the small intestine is built for this job. You know, it's not just some smooth pipe. No, it's lined with millions of these tiny little folds, kind of like the loops on a towel, which multiplies its surface area hundreds of times. This whole microscopic carpet is designed for one thing and one thing only: maximum absorption. And this, right here, brings us to the entire point of that factory tour. It really doesn't matter what you swallow if your body can't actually pull the nutrients out and put them to use. So the crucial takeaway here, efficient digestion and absorption, that's everything. All right, factory tour is over. So now that we know how the factory works, let's talk about the raw materials it's processing. We're talking about the big three: carbohydrates, fats, and protein. You know, the stuff your body needs in big amounts just to function. First up, we've got carbs, your body's go-to fast fuel. But, and this is a big but, not all carbs are created equal. The difference really just comes down to their structure. Simple carbs, they're these tiny little chains that your body digests almost instantly. That's what gives you that quick energy spike and then the inevitable crash. Complex carbs, on the other hand, are long, tangled chains that take a while to break down, giving you smooth, sustained energy. For decades, fat was public enemy number one, but that's just not the whole story. I mean, your brain is mostly fat. Saturated fats are actually really stable and great for cooking. Monounsaturated fats, think olive oil, they're kind of the gold standard. Polyunsaturated fats, like your omega-3s and 6s, are essential, but getting the ratio right is key. The only real villain here, artificial trans fats. Just avoid those completely. And finally, let's talk about protein. Every single cell in your body is made from it. Proteins are built from these 20 little building blocks called amino acids. Now, your body can actually make 11 of them on its own, but there are 9 that are essential, which means you have to get them from your food. And get this, if even one of those 9 is missing, the entire construction project just stops cold. So, how do you make sure that construction crew is actually, working? Well, muscle growth basically works like a light switch. It's either on or it's off, and it gets flipped on by one specific essential amino acid called leucine. And for most people, you need about 30 grams of high-quality protein in a single meal to get enough leucine to flip that switch to on. Our bodies are just incredible, but they were designed for a totally different world, and this is where things start to go wrong. The core problem, really, is that our ancient biology is just completely mismatched for the modern environment we live in, and this mismatch causes our internal factory to break down in some very specific ways. So the first way it breaks down is through chronic inflammation. I want you to think of it like a low-grade wildfire that just never goes out. Instead of healing an injury and then stopping, it just kind of smolders in the background, constantly damaging healthy tissue, day after day after day. Next up is oxidation. So just like a car's engine produces exhaust, your cells produce their own exhaust when they make energy. This stuff is called free radicals. And without enough antioxidants, which you get from fruits and veggies, to neutralize them, this exhaust literally causes your cells to rust from the inside out. And the third major breakdown is something called glycation. This is what happens when extra sugar in your blood attaches itself to proteins and fats, basically caramelizing them. This creates this sticky gunk that makes all your tissues stiff and brittle. It's actually the main biological reason for wrinkles and stiff joints. And to make all of this worse, our hormones are thrown completely out of whack. Insulin, our energy storage hormone, is constantly on from all the snacking, which actually blocks our cells' own cleanup processes. Dopamine, our reward signal, gets totally hijacked by these hyperpalatable foods, and cortisol, our stress alarm, just keeps dumping sugar into our blood with nowhere for it to go. Okay, I know, that was the bad news. But the good news? The machine is absolutely fixable. So let's shift gears from the problems to the solutions with a clear, logical strategy for getting your body's factory back online. So here is the repair hierarchy, and it's a simple 4-step process. But the key thing to understand here is that you have to start with a foundation. You can't argue about what kind of roof to put on the house when the foundation itself is cracked. It just doesn't work that way. The order is crucial. So, step 1, cut the crap. It's that simple. Before you even think about counting a single calorie, just get rid of all the industrial noise. The easiest way to do this is with the 1-ingredient rule. A steak is just steak. Broccoli is just broccoli. If it looks like it came from nature, you're probably on the right track. Okay, once the junk is out, step 2 is to lock in your foundation with protein. Now, why protein first? Because protein is the most satiating nutrient there is. It's what triggers your body's natural "I'm full" signal. So by focusing on getting a solid chunk of protein at every meal, you'll naturally have less room and, frankly, less desire for the junk. Now, with your protein foundation set, carbs and fats become these simple energy dials. And that's step 3. If you're an athlete running marathons, you turn up the carb dial for performance fuel. If you've got a desk job, maybe you turn that dial down and rely a bit more on healthy fats for stable, long-lasting energy. You adjust them to fit your life. And finally, we have step 4, fill the holes. But let's be really clear here. The word supplement literally means in addition to. It is not a substitute for a bad diet. Supplements are meant to be high-quality insurance for specific gaps you might have in your nutrition, not a free pass to ignore the first 3 steps. So that's it, the core of the nutrition science that really truly matters. And we'll end with one simple question for you to think about. Based on everything we've just talked about, is what you eat every day building your body up, or is it slowly breaking it down?